Bonjour, y'all. May is Mental Health Month, so today we're going to focus on a yoga that's meant to help you relieve some of the stress you may be carrying with you. So the first thing we're going to do is we're sitting up nice and tall, shoulders up, rolling back. And let's just find our breath for a moment. Nice big inhale, belly expands. Exhale, feel the belly deflate. Continue that for a few moments. Notice how the breath feels as it moves in and out. Notice any sensations of the air around you, any sounds around you. And now we'll start to rotate our neck just to relieve some tension there. Exhale as the neck goes down. Inhale as you're looking towards the ceiling. Finding a stopping point, reversing that motion. When we're dealing with stress, stress can be carried in many parts of the body, depending on who you are and what type of stress you're dealing with. So we're going to focus on the main areas today, obviously the back, the shoulders, the hips. So what we're going to do now is our hands are going to come behind us, taking our feet flat on the floor, knees pointed up, and we're just going to windshield wiper those knees. Following your breath. A few more of these. Just feel that tension starting to relieve a little in the hips. Coming back up to a seated position. Find the breath one more time. And just imagine the stress starting to melt away. Every time you exhale, just let that stress go a little bit further, melting into the mat. And we're going to find our way into a child's pose. So to do that, we're coming into a tabletop. So shoulders above wrists, hips above knees. You're going to take your toes a little towards each other. Knees are a little bit wider than hip distance apart, and we're going to allow our hips to sink towards our heels. Walk your hands out. And allow your forehead to rest on the mat. And simply breathe here. Again, imagining that stress melting into the mat with every exhale. A few more breaths here. Pushing back up. You can keep your knees where they are. We're going to take our right hand on an inhale. We're coming up. Exhale, taking that arm under. We are testing our waters here. Making sure our shoulders feel safe to do a nice shoulder stretch. And on this next time, if your body feels comfortable with it, we're going to take that arm all the way through, sinking our hips down to our heels and resting our head on the mat, allowing that shoulder capsule to get a nice stretch. And again, we're just gonna take some breaths here. If at any time you feel any pain, back out of the stretch. We don't want any pain. We just want some nice stress relieving stretches. One more breath. Unwind the arm back into child's pose. Arm comes out in front, resting the forehead on the mat. On your next inhale, we're coming back up. And we're going to take the left arm this time. Inhale up. Exhale, stretch under, testing the waters. Seeing if our body's going to allow us to go deep into the stretch. One more time, up. And if the body's ready, exhale down, sink back into the hips. On the next inhale, we're going to come back up. Release that arm back into child's pose. Letting that stress melt into the mat on every exhale. On the next breath, we're going to push back up into a tabletop. Wrists under shoulders. Knees under hips. And we're going to do some cat-cows. So on an inhale, we're dropping the belly, chest opens up. Exhale, rounding the back, tucking the tailbone and chin. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, round the back. And we're going to do a few rounds of these at your own pace. And come back to a neutral spine. We're going to do our down dog, so we are going to tuck our toes, and on an inhale we're going to simply pick up our knees, let them hover for a moment, and when you feel comfortable there, we're going to go ahead and straighten those knees. Triceps are wrapping around the arms, okay? Here we're just going to pedal our feet out. Back into a high plank from here, and we're going to lower down nice and slow. Taking a few breaths here on the mat. And we're going to go back up into our downward dog, tucking the toes, pushing up onto the knees, letting the knees hover, and stretching back out. Walk the feet a little bit again. Your next inhale, we're going to take the right foot up. Exhale, pull through, knee meets wrist. Right ankle goes towards left wrist. And we're just going to sit back into this. And this is your pigeon pose. And if you can't get into this stretch, a figure 4 on your back is the same stretch, just allows you to get into it easier. If you feel comfortable here, you're welcome to stay here. If you want a little deeper, you can come down to your forearms. And we're just going to breathe here for a moment. Allow the breath to work through any tightness that you have. That tightness may be stress holding in your body. It may just simply be sore muscles. But allow the breath to work into that tightness. And remember, if you feel any pain, any sharpness, pinching, back out of it. If you're on your forearms, we're going to push back up into the hands, tucking that toe on the back side, pushing back up into a downward facing dog. Pedaling the feet once more. Left foot's coming up. Same thing as the other side. Left knee goes towards left wrist, left ankle to right wrist. And we're simply sitting down into that stretch. You can stay here, or if you want deeper, come to your forearms. And we're going to breathe here. If you're on your forearms, go ahead and push into your hands. We're going back to our downward facing dog one more time. Walking the feet out. And we are going to walk slowly our feet towards our hands. On an inhale, we're going to slowly rise. Arms come all the way up, meeting at the top. Exhale, hinging at the hips, forward fold. We're going to take a breath here so we can grab opposite elbows. Just hang out here. Let gravity gently decompress the spine a little. A slight bend in your knees. And you can rock gently side to side. On an inhale, slowly coming back up, hands meeting at center. Exhale, hands to heart center. Now we are slowly going to make our way onto the floor, onto our back. Taking our knees into our chest, gently rocking. Continuing to breathe. We are going to take our right leg, stretch it long, and we're going to allow our left knee, while it's bent, to roll over to the right side. If your left shoulder comes up slightly, that is okay. I would rather it come up and you still work on the back than try to pin that shoulder down and you cause a lot of pain in the shoulder. Always do what feels right for your body. Nice lower back stretch here. On an inhale, we're going to take our knees back up, bring them into your chest, slowly rock side to side. If you want a deeper stretch here, you can actually do happy baby. So you take your legs up, grab the feet, and pull the knees down towards your armpits. Just keeping in mind that this is a very vulnerable position, so if you have any sort of trauma that makes you uncomfortable, please do not do this stretch, or make sure you feel safe doing so. Taking the knees back into the chest, we're going to take the left leg long. Taking the right knee over, lower back stretch. Back up to center, knees to chest, one more time. And we're going to take a reclined butterfly. So we're going to let our knees fall out, soles of the feet come together. You can place one hand on your belly, one on your chest, and let's take a few breaths here. And now we're going to work our way into Shavasana. Knees to chest. Inhale, your lungs full. And on your exhale, sigh it out. Allow all the air to release. Inhale, fill in the lungs. And sigh it out. Last time, inhale. And on your exhale, sighing it out, allowing the legs to fall long, arms to come by your side. Finding a nice, comfortable position that we'll be able to stay in for a few minutes. Closing the eyes, allowing all of the stress of your day to flow into the mat. Anything that you have had going on will be waiting for you when you arrive back. For now, we'll focus on the breath. We'll focus on being grateful for the time we've spent together on the mat. Feel the sensations of the air around you. Notice any sounds that come around and just let them pass. Any thoughts that come into your mind, notice them and let them keep going. These few moments are for you and you alone to relieve the stress and simply be. Shavasana. Allow your awareness to come back into your body. Maybe find some gentle motion by wiggling your toes and your fingers, pointing and flexing the feet, rotating the wrists. A big stretch overhead. And allow your body to find a fetal position in your favorite side, just taking one last moment of gratitude on this mat. When you're ready, we're going to slowly come back to a seated position. And if you're able to, keeping the eyes closed. One last inhale together as the arms come up overhead. On your exhale, bringing the hands to heart center. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. I hope you were able to relieve some of the stress you may have been carrying with you. Anything that you experience throughout a day will be there waiting for you when you come back. So make sure you take a few moments for yourself. We want to always honor ourselves. We can't take care of anyone else before we take care of ourselves. Always remember that you are worthy, you are strong, and you are loved. And gently bow. Namaste. I hope you were able to relieve some of the stress you may be carrying. We wanted to focus mainly on the shoulders and the back and the hips and the neck. Everyone carries stress in a different way. Breathing is a great way to help relieve some of that stress. So I hope you remember that as you go through your days and you find any stress, just pull back for a moment and breathe, allowing your exhales to let some of that stress drain away. Always take care of you. Self-care is important. May is Mental Health Month. You can check a lot of different websites. There will be many different ways of self-care and just checking in with yourself and taking care of yourself. As always, if you like what you've learned, and if you've learned anything at all, make sure you like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time on Wellness for Everybody.